Yay, first time is a charm this time. Okay, I'm going to go put this in the Gently Lit Sisters group. And then we will get started. This will give everyone a chance to join. All right, there we go. Okay, let me make sure that it went live on my end. Wait for you guys to join. I haven't gotten the notification. Now, if you want to be notified when I go live, go ahead and tap the bell to be notified. It has not gone off for me, so it'll probably take a minute for people to join. I never got the notification. That was weird. I don't know why, but there we go. All right, so we'll just kind of wait for people to join here. And I hope you all are having a great time so far in these holidays. Okay, there's a few now. So, okay. So when I am not postpartum or yeah, when I am not postpartum or deep into pregnancy, because I've had, well, most of mine have been, I've been either far along in my pregnancies at this time of the year, or I've been postpartum because I had a couple November birthdays. So when I'm not postpartum, November and December tend to be some of my favorite months of the year. The only reason I have had a hard time in the past when I was postpartum is because of how dark it gets, how early. You know, it gets dark so early here in Illinois. By 5 every day, it's time to hunker down in the warmth of my home. I utilize bright lights in my home during these months so I won't succumb to seasonal depression. But this year, I've embraced the cold and the shorter days. I'm really enjoying it this year for some reason. I've been trying to get all my errands done and chores done before nightfall, and I'm enjoying sitting under a heated blanket with a hot cup of tea and relaxing in the evening hours. I think that God created times and seasons for a purpose, and there needs to be seasons where we relax and we recuperate from busy times of the year. There's been years in the past where I crammed as much into December as I possibly could because everything needed to be perfect, and I needed to do this party, and I needed to do this event, and we had to do this, and it would be a tragedy if we didn't do this. But I started to regret it because by the end of the Christmas season, I would be so stressed out and so burnt out and just ready for a vacation that it was just not a fun time. So there's been times when I have crammed as much as I could, but it was to my detriment. This year, I was determined not to overdo it. I teach this week, and then I have the next 2 weeks off, and I decided to take the week off before Christmas so that I could focus on Christmassy things with my kids. Over the years, I've tried to scale back my overzealous nature and instead slow down and enjoy the seasons that I am in, whether that's the summer season, because summer is actually pretty crazy for our family too, because that's when we do all the camps and we go all the places and, you know, we do all that. So I've tried to really just, as I get older, slow down and just try to enjoy the season that I'm in. So stay tuned until the end, and I hope more join because you need to stay tuned until the end when we do our giveaways for the gift cards. I don't know why, but I don't think the notification went off today for the YouTube. I never got a notification saying that I was live to my channel. So I think that's why we have people that are slow in joining. Hello, Celine. So I wanted to talk about some specific things when it comes to thriving during the holidays, not becoming stressed out, not becoming depressed, not getting overwhelmed. You know, what are some ways that we can manage the holidays better so that we are enjoying them rather than just, you know, trying to get through them or just having dread when it comes to it. And I have a hair that's like sticking out. I'm going to try to pull here. It's driving me crazy. I can see it. You see that? There it is. There. It was driving me crazy. Let's talk about presents, though, and gifts. So with presents, one of the things that we have determined to do during Christmas time is stay out of debt. Overall, throughout the year, we try to stay out of debt. We do not like the credit card. We do have one. However, we try to keep the balance very low or paid off completely. We don't like getting racked up. Years ago, we did the Dave Ramsey course where we did pay off. At the time, we were only making 30 or 35,000, I believe. And we had accumulated about 5,600 to 7,000 in credit card debt, which is just way too much to accumulate when you're only making $35,000. So we did do his method, and we paid off our van debt and also our credit card debt. I think overall, maybe some medical debt, it was between $12,000 and $15,000 that we paid off over a year or two. And since that time, I'm not going to say that we've never had credit card debt, but we have tried very hard to not use the credit card. We've tried to save up for bigger purchases. There are some types of things where you can do financing. I remember I had saved up, I had a couple $1,000 in piano lesson money saved up, and our washer or dryer, one of the two, broke. And I went to go buy one, and he was trying to talk me into doing the financing. But I told him, and he's like, I was like, no, I'm just going to pay cash. I have it. And he's like, well, what if you want the cash for a rainy day? And I said, well, this is my rainy day. This is why I have it. So I paid cash for the dryer, and it was such a good feeling because I didn't have to worry about that payment anymore. I'm not going to say we've been perfect in this area. We're just now paying off the washer that we financed through the same company. But there are a lot of financing things that you can do where it's 12 months, same as cash, and then you're not paying any finance fees on that, and you're breaking it up, over a certain amount of time. But the number one, advice I have, the number one tip I have for you when it comes to presents is you don't need to go into debt for this. Long after that last toy has broken, you're still going to be paying off the credit card. So please do not go into debt for Christmas. You know that Christmas is the same. Dave Ramsey used to say this. It's the same day every single year. It's December 25th. You know it's going to be then. So I would recommend, this is what we used to do when we had younger kids. We would set aside $1,000 from our tax return, and we would keep that in savings the whole year. And that was our Christmas fund. So that is what we would do. We would prepare for it. I know there's lots of banks that have a Christmas savers plan where they take like $25 out of your paycheck every week. And then that way you're saving up $100 a month, and then you've got over $1,000 to spend when it comes time for Christmas. So definitely don't go into debt. That would be my number one tip. Prepare the whole year if you can. Now, let's say that you're like, okay, well, that's all good and fine, and I'm going to do that next year in 2024, but here we are in 2023, and I don't have anything saved up for this year. So if you were not prepared financially for this year, there are options, okay? I'm going to recommend thrift stores to you. Many times your kids don't care if the tag is on it. They don't care if it's been worn by someone else. It's new to them, right? It's a new dress. It's new toy. Whatever it is, they don't know. They don't care. It's just something to unwrap. My husband and I noticed something really funny this last Christmas dinner that we had. When it came to white elephant gifts, we have the kids' white elephant and we have the adults' white elephant. Well, with the adults, it can be fiercely competitive sometimes, right? Because we're all unwrapping things. And with white elephant, you want your name to be drawn last because you can take any gift then at that time. What happens is you get your name drawn, you pick out a gift, you unwrap it. And if you like it, you keep it. If you want to trade with someone else, you can trade with someone else. Well, we noticed with the little kids, whatever gift they opened, no matter what it was, they kept it. And there's just something about they liked that gift because they had unwrapped it. Hannah got a lamp, like a light that you plug in, and she loved it. She didn't want to trade it. She was attached to that lamp. So I thought it was really funny that the thrill was in opening the present, and then that was theirs, right? That was the thrill. That was where they got the thrill. So, kids aren't going to care if it's name brand clothing. They're not going to care if it's brand new with the tags on it. So I would suggest going to thrift stores. Also, You can home make some things. I know Chloe in the past has crocheted. Now, I do not crochet, but there's a lot of women who can sew things for their kids. They can crochet. They can make homemade items for their kids that they'll like, a scarf or mittens or whatever it may be. They can make it. There are sales websites, but some of these you have to think ahead. So take, for instance, Shein. They do have a lot of really cheap stuff on that website, but you have to order a good 3 or 4 weeks out. Right now, you're going to be out of luck if you try ordering from there. I don't think it would be in time for Christmas. Probably some of the reason is because I think some of it's shipped from overseas. It's probably actually cheap Chinese junk, but it is what it is. I shop from Shein, and there's some really cute things there. And I'm not going to knock anyone that shops from Shein or Temu. I don't know how you say it, Temu, whatever. I've never actually done Temu because I've heard that they have had, a lot of people have had their credit card information or debit card information stolen. So I haven't actually shopped that one yet, but I like Shein, so I do that quite a bit. There's also, and I was trying to think of it today, I used to look at this site all the time, but I stopped because even if I didn't need something, I would buy something because they were so rock bottom. Can anyone let me know what the website is that gives all the codes for Amazon? And you can get a lot of really good stuff there. And then you're buying it from Amazon, so you're getting it, they got rid of 2-day shipping, so you're getting it in like 4 days or whatever. And Karen Rodriguez is the first one who told me about it. Does anyone remember what that website is? It's like stuff that you get off Amazon, and they have these cool codes that you put in and you get it really cheap. And I stopped going to it just because I was buying too much stuff I didn't need. But if you keep doing that, you could do that throughout the year and just kind of slowly build up Christmas presents. My best friend is really good about this. She's really good about seeing things throughout the year, whether she's going to thrift stores, or she also personally makes fleece blankets, the kind that is the really pretty fleece, and then you cut up and tie it. She makes those blankets, but they're really cute because she'll look throughout the year for material that she knows will like. So like for me, that could be music notes or chickens or, something along those lines. So she's really good at gifts. So giving gifts is not my forte. I'm just going to admit that right now. So a lot of times I feel better about just giving a gift card because I stink at giving gifts. It's not my love language. Quality time is my love language. So for me personally, I would rather just go spend time with a person, go on a date with my husband, go on a trip with my husband, than get a thing. I'm not big into getting things, although if someone gives me something that they know I like, or they just know me really well, like my friend Erica, it's special to me because they put a lot of thought and effort into it. So, but for me personally, I really struggle when it comes to giving gifts because I would just much rather prefer quality time over things. So, but yeah, there are sales websites. If anyone can remember the name of that website where you get cheap stuff off Amazon, let me know. Also, flash deals on Amazon. A lot of times if I've needed things in the past, say I need a comforter set or something, I'll go on Amazon and I'll just type in flash deal comforter set, and all the deals that are marked way down will come up. So that is something you can do too. Also, another thing that you can implement with your kids is the 3 present rule. If you have a lot of kids, it's just too overwhelming, you can do a 3 present rule. And that is, besides the Christmas Eve pajamas, we always do Christmas Eve pajamas. Well, even those are like $20 a pair now. So I got Christmas pajamas for the family, and I spent so much because it's like $20 a pair. But if they specifically have asked for it, that's something that we do. But there's a 3 present rule, which is 1 toy, something to read, and something to wear. And I think that's a good rule of thumb. So then they're getting something fun that they can play with on Christmas. They're getting something to read. They can also read on Christmas. And then they're getting a new outfit or, something along those lines. So the 3 present rule is helpful. One thing that I do when I'm buying presents for all of them, I have a set budget. So I cannot go over that budget. I also want to make sure I'm spending around the same amount on each kid. And I only have, a certain amount that I can. I don't want to spend 200 on one and then 100 on another, right? I want to keep it fairly balanced. So I keep a notebook and I put my starting amount. And then anytime I go to the store and buy Christmas presents or do an Amazon, order or something, I subtract that then from the total, and I keep track of every present that each kid has. That way I don't have one kid opening 5 and one kid opening 2. Now, I will say the older they get, though, this does slightly change, because obviously Hannah and Kelly are going to have about the same amount of gifts because they're little. And little kids are cheaper. So you can find cheaper toys and they will have more to open. Whereas my older kids, Jason is into tools, and most likely we'll just get him a tool. And that right there is all of his Christmas money, because tools are so expensive. So obviously that's going to change a little as they get older. But for me personally, I would rather have memories over things. And that's why this year, my husband and I don't even think we're going to do gifts. I think we're going to just go away for a night or go do an activity or something along those lines, because I would rather do something with him over getting something I don't need. I mean, I teach piano on the side, so if I have a need, I get it. If I need a skirt, I buy it. If I need earrings, I get them. I don't really need more things, because I'll just buy it if I need it. So, number 2, let's talk about doing activities and going to activities on Christmas or around the Christmas holiday. Number 1, just don't stress about it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to be stressed out. One of the things I do is that we plan easy things for potlucks, because there tends to be a lot of Christmas dinners. There tends to be a lot of get-togethers with family and friends. So I do easy things, but crowd pleasers, right? Like cheesy potatoes, that's a total Midwest thing, right? We love our cheesy potatoes. That's a crowd pleaser, and it always gets eaten. Buffalo chicken dip is a crowd pleaser, always gets eaten. Corn casserole is a crowd pleaser, always gets eaten. And this is all stuff that we just throw into the crock pot. So we don't stress about it. It literally only takes, we don't do big, elaborate things. Now, if you're into that, by all means, go for it. But when it comes to us doing a lot of things, we'll bring a lot of the same items, but a lot of the things that we can just throw into a potluck, or throw into a crock pot. So I won't do, a 5-course dinner with all this fancy food. We will do good, tasty, crowd pleasing things. You need to do what the crowd likes. So we do easy things for potlucks. And then we also, if let's say you have an ornament exchange, or the kids in church are doing a present exchange, we shop thrift stores for ornaments. I found really cute items at thrift stores before that possibly were $10, $15 in the store. You're going to always spend more when you pay full price, even at Walmart, Target, any of those places, you're going to pay more. So you can sometimes get nicer items from a thrift store. A lot of times that the home that it came from, they didn't even use it. So it's almost brand new. I found things multiple times with tags on them that someone was gifted, maybe they didn't like, so they just gave away to the thrift store, a year or 2 later. So there are lots of things that you can find at thrift stores. And then when it comes to activities, I know this is hard, because I'm going to talk a little bit about this when it comes to activities. Being a pastor's wife, I've seen this over and over and over again. And I feel like around the holidays, and this is not an accident, okay, because I keep hearing about everyone complaining about all the sickness. Thankfully, our church has been spared. I know I shouldn't even say anything, because now we're all going to come down with something. But thankfully, our church has been spared. And this has been a very, very, very low sickness year. But a year ago, it was really bad. Like literally everyone and their brother was sick. And we just kept passing things around at church. And when you have a bigger church, and you're in a smaller closed space, it's an opportune time to get viruses, to pass on the stomach bug, different things like that. So rule of thumb is, if your kids are sick, don't bring them, and I know it stinks, and it stinks that you're going to miss it, but for me personally, if it comes to puking or diarrhea, it's just an automatic, you're not going, and sometimes it comes out of the blue. Like you have no idea that they're even sick. And this happened last year with one of mine. I thought everything was fine. I think it was it Hannah or Kelly? They were sitting there in the chair and just puked all over. So I just scooped them up and put them in the van and we went home. It's just, obviously it got cleaned up, but I just left immediately because I was like, if they have the stomach bug, they could pass this on. And I think the stomach bug was going around. That was like February-ish. Everyone in Illinois succumbed to this horrible stomach bug. So a lot of times kids are just sick from eating too much candy. And I've found that it's very interesting that everyone gets sick around the holidays because first off, we have Halloween, which is a major sugar fest, right? Kids are just engorging themselves with tons of sugar. And sugar is known to lower your immunities. So they're engorging themselves with all the sugar. They're lowering their immunities. They're around people. And so then it's the prime time for a virus to come in. So we have that. Then we have Thanksgiving where there's sweets everywhere. You're feasting. And then you've got Christmas. You've got Christmas parties where there's candy and candy canes and like the 4 major food groups, like Elf said, right? Sugar and candy corn and candy canes and maple syrup. You've got all the sweet stuff that you're just eating and partaking in. So you've got sugar holiday, sugar holiday, sugar holiday. And this is the prime time everyone's together with family and friends. And so they're just passing all these illnesses. So I would definitely suggest to build your immunities during this time. Now, one thing I've found with me is I've been very healthy for the last few months. And I think part of it is just because I've been fasting a lot, and fasting is shown to build your immunities because you're cycling out like all of these cells, right? You're like replacing cells, and your red blood cells and white blood cells and all this stuff are kind of they're getting very strong, and they're able to fight any type of virus that happens to invade your body. So people that fast have a smaller percentage of getting sick. So I've noticed it's definitely helping me. And then another thing I do, if you're a mom and you're like, everyone goes on a diet January 1st, right? Because we've just been like feasting for like the entire month of Thanksgiving, like Halloween, Thanksgiving into Christmas. We're just feasting. We're eating sugar cookies and sugar and, all of this stuff. And so everyone fasts. Well, if you are a mom that's trying to watch your weight, I would suggest doing famine days followed by feast days. Okay. So, and that is where one day you eat 1,000 calories, 1,200 calories. Obviously, this won't work if you're nursing or pregnant. So I'm talking about those that aren't, but followed by a feasting day. So, I've kind of been doing that. This week I'm trying something different, and I'll let you know how it goes. I'm into a 36-hour fast now. So I'm doing 36-hour fast followed by 12 hours of eating. So I started last night. I'll go through tomorrow morning. Tomorrow all day I'll eat. I'll start tomorrow night, and then I'll fast all day through, Wednesday. And then I'll eat again Thursday morning. I'll start fasting that night again. I'll eat again Saturday. So I'll have like 3 days where I'm eating, and I'm probably going to try to stick to mainly keto during that time. But if a sugar cookie arises, I'll eat a sugar cookie. Everyone that knows me knows that I eat when I eat. So I don't completely eliminate everything from my diet because I do work out, I do fasting days, different things like that. So it's not about depriving yourself all the time. It's about just not eating that way all the time. Okay. So every day shouldn't be like Christmas. Every day shouldn't be like Thanksgiving. And, for me too, I try to keep most of the sweets out of the home because my kids are going to get sweets at church and they're going to get sweets at Christmas dinner. So I definitely think that the sugar plays into lots of people getting sick over and over and over again. And then just the close proximity, we're not able to open the windows, it's the heat's going. So I understand that that's another reason people can get sick too, but definitely focus on building your immunities during the holiday season so you're not just sick the whole time, because no one wants to be sick the whole time, right? And then plan healthy meals for your feast days. So, and what I'm saying is like the days that you know you're going to eat. Like for me personally, I would rather eat food, like real food, and put my calories in there than a drink or even a sweet. Like I'll eat my one sugar cookie, but when it comes to just filling my plate with sweets, I would rather eat more cheesy potatoes. So I'd rather get my calories there than like a cookie or something. So but yeah, that's number 3 was my point with diet for moms. I know if we don't take care of ourselves during this season, if we're just like getting Starbucks every time we go for a Christmas run, or we're getting a sugar cookie at Starbucks, or we're just eating sugar, we're going to feel bad, and we're going to feel, like we're dragging and we're getting sick. And so I would try to eliminate sugar with the exception of the special days, the Christmas dinner or Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Have those times where you plan to eat the junk, but don't have sugar cookies every day in December, because that's really going to affect the way that you feel. So I try to limit sugar at home. I try to continue to work out. Sometimes it's hit and miss. I know last week I only got to go twice. So I don't stress about it though. If I get a chance to work out, I work out. If I don't, I'm not going to freak out about it or panic or stress out or whatever. But I'm trying to keep a consistency to my life during the craziness. So I had someone ask about this. What about activities with loved ones when it comes to unsaved family members, different things like that? I do sweets in the stockings. Yes. That Christmas Day is a feast day at our house. So, and it's a sweet day. We eat lots of sugar. So in the morning we do, Abby said she wanted to make homemade cinnamon rolls. I always do Rhodes. So that's one thing I made easier for myself when I started having lots of kids. I used to make homemade, and I can make a mean homemade cinnamon roll, but it takes a lot more work and a lot more time. So I started going to Rhodes cinnamon rolls. And we always do that on Christmas morning. They open their stockings. They've got candy in their stockings. They've got snacks. They've got Pringles. They got different things like that. So Christmas is definitely a feast day at our house, and it's not, I don't stress about it. I know my kids are going to be eating a lot of sugar. I'm going to be eating more calories that day, but it is what it is, right? So I want to build good memories where they have it in their head, like they were able to get up and eat their stockings and eat all the candy, and mom wasn't stressing out. Mom wasn't freaking out because the cinnamon rolls weren't done, or mom wasn't freaking out over the ham dinner, or, I don't want the memories of their Christmases to be mom stressed out, mom freaking out, mom panicking. I don't want that, because every kid needs to have like a Christmas story life, right? And I guess some of the memories in the movie were his dad freaking out, but everyone needs to have those memories that they can look back and get nostalgic over and get sentimental about. So I want that for my kids. So, but yeah, the diet for the moms, we do need to try to think overall day to day. Let's not just eat junk every day. Let's try to make, it a point to put healthy food into our bodies, and then build your kids' immunity. So I would do vitamin C every day. Elderberry is really good during this time of year if you have that, just to try to build their immunities. Maybe vitamin D if you're not getting out in the sun a lot, which I know our kids aren't. And I think that's one of the reasons kids are so much healthier during the summer, especially in Illinois, because they are out. They're soaking up, that vitamin D. And they're just, running around barefoot. And it really has an impact on your health. But let's talk about activities with loved ones. Let's say that you're getting together with family where you are the only one who is raising your kids the way you are. You're the only one homeschooling. You're looked at as the weird one, right? You're the only one who has dress standards. You're the only one who has any standards. And a lot of people will kind of, I think, due to just feeling uncomfortable, they'll try to find a reason not to do the activities with their loved ones. And I think that's a shame, because I think as Christians, we should try to be a light to our unsaved family members, and we should try to be a witness, and we should try to be the sane one when it comes to how we talk to them, how we interact with them. So I would definitely say determine that you will be the peacemaker. You don't need to wear a MAGA hat, Make America Great Again hat. You don't need to wear your Trump buttons. You don't need to push buttons if you know that someone is totally liberal in their way of thinking. Just determine that you're going to be the peacemaker. You're going to let things roll off your back. You don't need to respond to the snide comment. You don't need to respond to the snarkiness. You don't need to respond to the passive aggressiveness. You can just ignore it. You can ignore things in life. You don't have to take the bait. Smile and be pleasant, be happy. If you're the family that's considered weird because you're Christians, you should be the one that's the happiest, because the Christian life is supposed to be happy, right? And why would you be miserable and then expect people, you'd be miserable and then you would expect people to be wanting what you have? It's just, it doesn't make sense. So you be the happiest, you be the most pleasant. Your kids act like they like their life. And you act like your life, like you like your life when you're around your family. Don't look for conflict at all, but always look to dissolve conflict. And I think people just have a sense of this, what's a red button, topic or not, especially with siblings that you grew up with your whole life. You know which buttons not to push. They know which buttons not to push. So, don't look for conflict. Always look to dissolve conflict. Always be the pleasant one. Be a witness, but don't push. And I'm not talking about just sitting there and taking ridicule and taking mockery. And, if you have family members like that, obviously you're not going to want to be around that. You're not going to want your kids around that. But for the most part, I've noticed that, as Christians, we can be a little too sensitive when it comes to things. And our lifestyle is different than most of the population in the world. We are different. We're supposed to be the salt of the earth. We're supposed to stand out. We're supposed to be different. So, just try not to be so sensitive and, just try to let things roll off your back. Don't take the bait if someone is trying to be nasty or whatever. Be a witness to others, but don't push. If they seem genuinely interested, and it's like when you're soul winning, I can knock on a door and talk to someone, and within 1 minute of talking to that person, I can tell if they are open or receptive to hearing more, or if they just want me gone. And you're not going to get anywhere, and you're not going to be able to witness to someone if they just want you off their doorstep. So it's the same way with family. You can tell if they're asking questions, if they're open to things, if they're willing to listen. You can tell. And pray before you go. Pray that maybe you can plant seeds, and you can be a light to them, and you can be a witness. So if alcohol is involved, ask if they can have a time where there is no alcohol, and then maybe bring it out after you leave. So I don't like being around alcohol. It makes me very uncomfortable. That's really shining in there. It makes me very, very uncomfortable. And I just tend to try to, excuse me for a minute. There we go. I tend to want to not be around alcohol at all. So if there is just no way of getting around, getting away from it, maybe ask if your family could be, say, I respect the fact that you do drink alcohol and you see nothing wrong with it, but I've made it a practice where I don't want my kids around that. So could you possibly, we want to visit with you though. We want to talk with you. So could you possibly wait until we leave? And we won't stay really late, but we do want to talk with you and fellowship with you or whatever. So could you wait until we left? Can you wait until we leave to bring out the alcohol? And I feel like if you say it in a respectful, nice way, family is more apt to listen to that. So you don't need to overcommit to things, but it is nice to try to do things with both sides of the family. If you can be accommodating, then be accommodating. We decided a few years ago that Christmas Day was kind of off limits. Like as our kids got older, it was just too much. And this was back when we lived within like a half hour or the same town as my in-laws and my side of the family. We were like, the kids are older now. We just kind of want to spend Christmas at home. And so now we work around that, and it's not an issue. even when it comes to Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving is kind of like the big holiday on my husband's side. And it's just kind of known that. So, and my mom moved to Arkansas this year. So she doesn't even live nearby where we can do anything. So we didn't do anything on Thanksgiving. But what I'm doing is I'm going to drive the 8.5 hours, whatever it is, to Arkansas this year, but after Christmas. So Christmas Day, we're spending at home. We're spending the whole day at Christmas. I found that as they get older, when they're younger, or as they get toys, they have toys and they're old enough to realize they want that day. Like we would, when they were younger, they would unwrap their toys and be like, oh, that's so cool. You got toys. Now let's go to grandma's. And then they'd have to leave, their toys behind. And then we'd go to grandma's. So it just got to where we're like, nope, Christmas Day is at home now. And that's kind of what we do. So, your immediate family comes first when it comes to establishing traditions and doing traditions and celebrating the holidays. But I also try to do things with both sides of the family. So we'll have a day where we'll do stuff with Tom's side of the family, and then whoever can come. But that's mainly for the grandparents. I want to respect and honor them as well. And they love seeing their kids. They love seeing their grandkids on the holidays. So we do try to be accommodating with both sides. So we'll spend either a day before Christmas with them or one of the days after. And then we're going to my mom's. I'm going to my mom's with the kids that are able to go from that Thursday through Saturday. So, and you know what? It takes effort. And I'm at a point in my life where, yeah, I've got 8 kids and it takes a lot of time to work this stuff out, but it's important to me because when I get older and my kids are all married, I hope they want to see me on the holidays. So I am doing what I would want my kids to do with me, basically. So keeping the right mindset this time of year. Remember what this is all about. It's about celebrating. Okay, let me rephrase that. It's not, or it should not be, a carnal mindset of just give, get all this stuff. It should not be about the things. It should not be about the presents. This is a time of year when we reflect on Jesus coming to the earth for us, being born as a baby. Why do we reflect on that? Because it was such, it's the way of salvation, right? That Jesus came to the earth and he provided a way of salvation to those of us who put our faith and trust in him. So it's a pretty big thing. And just remember what it's all about. Tell the Christmas story often. Watch Christmas stories often. Your kids can learn to be happy about simple Christmases. You don't need to just break the bank, get into debt, giving $500 iPads or $750 earbuds. I don't even know if they're expensive. A phone. Phones are $750. You don't need to get the newest and greatest things. They can learn to do with simple Christmases. I remember one of my favorite Christmases growing up. I wanted 2 things. I wanted a volleyball and I wanted a caboodle. And looking back, it probably cost my parents like $30 or something. Who knows? Maybe 20 back then, because this was back in the, late 80s. So, but I got a volleyball and a caboodle. And that is like my favorite memory of things that I've gotten over the years. It's so random, but for some reason that just sticks out to me. And it wasn't a very expensive thing, but it was something that was wanted, and my mom made that happen. And so it just really sticks out to me as a really cool, like the best Christmas, right? Teach your kids to look out for others, not what they can get. It shouldn't just be about consuming. It should be about giving of their time, giving of themselves, giving of their efforts. Get them involved in ministry. Teach them what the best thing you can do is to serve others and to help others and to be there for others. If you are constantly depressed and anxious during the season, that's what they're going to remember. As they're growing up, they're going to remember that mom was always stressed out. And you know what? Honestly, as a kid, I would have rather had fewer presents and had a happy mom that watched movies with us and snuggled with us and drank hot cocoa with us and, played Uno with us than all the gifts in the world. Kids really need moms to just chillax and not be stressed out, not be yelling, not be depressed. Your kids can tell when you're happy. They can tell when you're sad. And no one but you can help your anxiousness and your anxiety and your depression. No one but you can help that. I can't help that. No one can, especially if you don't ask for help. But the level of contentment, peace, and joy that you have is dependent on you. It's a heart condition most of the time, except for when you're postpartum or nursing or your hormones are going crazy. I'm going to throw that disclaimer out there. Because I remember hearing preachers saying that it was always a spiritual problem. I don't think that's the case. I do think hormones play into this quite a bit, especially when you're bearing children and having children. But remember that it's your adult life, and it might seem like another day to you and another season to you, but it's their childhood. And just like I have really good, fond memories of things that happened when I was a kid. I'm live right now. Oh, thank you. Abby was here teaching. Just like I have really good memories from when I was a kid, you want to have that with your own kids. You want them to look back and have good memories and not just only remember you stressed out and depressed and anxious and crying and whatever, yelling at them. Santa or no Santa, obviously I have to touch on this. This is something that it is completely dependent on your home. For us, Santa's a fun idea. And I've told my kids, my little ones, it's like Mickey Mouse. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to see. It's fun to read stories about Mickey Mouse, but Mickey Mouse isn't real. And it's the same way with Santa. It's fun to talk about Santa. It's a fun story idea. It's fun to read about him. It's fun to watch movies about him, but Santa's not real. And, I don't want anyone else getting credit for the presents we got them. That's on mom and dad, right? Now, a lot of people think that Christmas has pagan roots. And I'm just going to say it might. Everything has pagan roots. Okay. Christmas tree, maybe. Who knows? I highly doubt it, but whatever. Okay. Overall, though, most know what Christmas is about. I'm not kidding you. I'm sure coffee has pagan roots. I did something the other, I don't know, a year ago or something. I Googled stuff and then put pagan roots after it. So I Googled coffee and pagan roots, trees and pagan roots, earrings and pagan roots. Literally, like anytime you Google something, pagan roots are going to come up. Okay. So I don't go along with the whole pagan stuff. I don't care about any of that. You know what I care about? I know why I'm celebrating it. I know why our family's celebrating it. And we try to keep the focus on Jesus Christ. And I do believe that he is glorified through that. So unless you have a background in being a witch, I often see deeming everything as pagan and thinking everything's evil and want to canceling everything. I see it almost, especially if you have a lot of kids, as being lazy, and it's a lazy way out. Okay. Christmas is hard. It's hard to save up for the whole year for Christmas presents. It's hard to plan special things for your kids to make special memories. You have to definitely go out of your comfort zone to do all this stuff. But it would be a lot easier for me just to say, nope, canceled, pagan, not doing it. Be a whole lot easier. It'd save us a whole lot of money. It would, save us expense. It would save us time. It would save us effort. But I often see those who cancel everything. I find it a way to just make life easier. And you know what? If they want to do that, that's fine. But I'm not about making my life easier. And really anyway, any area as often as that it's tempting. So I will go through the expense and, go through the effort and put the time in order to celebrate this, because I think it's good for our kids to know the true meaning of Christmas and to see why we celebrate Christmas. And it does, it does take planning. It takes saving up. It takes prioritizing, whether that's prioritizing what you're doing for your kids or whatever. So I often get asked this question: what about gifts for spouses? Do you have any ideas? Well, for me, for this year, like I said, now in the past, my husband is always taking the kids, let's go shopping for mom. And then, he used to buy me precious moments. Those are a lot harder to find now. So he doesn't as much anymore. Bath and Body Works stuff, coffee gift cards, he knows all my favorites. so he would go with them. But I told him, I said, this year, I don't really want to do that because if I want any of that stuff, I can go buy it. If I want a coffee, I go buy a coffee. If I want Bath and Body Works stuff, I go buy it. So what I want to do this year is just do a trip with him, maybe like not a trip, but like an overnight. So we'll go out to dinner together and we'll get a hotel and we'll just spend 24 hours with each other. That's what I want for the Christmas gift. So that's what we're doing. There are different things you can do though. You can do coupon books where it's free. So this entitles you to a back massage. This entitles you to a foot rub. This entitles you to watching a movie and cuddling together. This entitles you to a steak dinner, whatever that I make, that you can make at home. So there are definitely different things that you can do if you just are completely broke and you have no money. If your husband is anything like mine, he would love any of that stuff. So you can plan a date, say, let's not spend the $200 on each other, or the $100 or the $50 or whatever. And let's just spend time together. For me, I'm saying these things because that's what I like. So, it might be different though. Maybe gifts is your love language. Well, in that case, I would suggest giving your husband hints because most men just want to be told what to get for you. So if you really are set on gifts, I would suggest giving some hints, sending him links to things you like off Amazon or wherever, Walmart.com, whatever it is. But there are several things that you can do if you're like me and you like quality time. Okay. And that would be coupon book of different activities you can do, a date, a gym membership. One of my favorite things is just go work out with my husband. And we have a gym membership that our whole family, it includes our whole family. There's zoo memberships that you can do. There are museum memberships that you can do. A lot of things too, if you're planning a trip there, it's actually easier to get the full year family pass, especially for us because we have so many kids. It's a lot cheaper just to get the family pass for all these things. How about just, being interested in your spouse, flirting with your spouse, chasing after your spouse, and being available for him? I know as moms, we get touched out. We get overwhelmed. We're sick of having people in our bubble. But at the end of the day, your husband does need you to be there for him when it comes to these things, because you are the only one who can fulfill your husband's physical needs and all those things. So how about just focusing a little bit more on your husband? Like I said, Illinois, shorter days, right? So 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I am winding down for the day. And so that is prime opportunity to watch a movie together, talk with each other, go to bed early, whatever it is, just be available for your husband. You're never going to go wrong in investing time and energy into your spouse. Never. Because long after the kids are grown and gone, your spouse is going to be there. So I would suggest invest time and energy into your spouse. Establish some traditions in your home. Make it special and meaningful for your kids as a way for them to reflect happiness in the way that they were raised. I'm telling you right now, the missing element to our kids going astray when they turn 18, the missing element is a happy home. I'm convinced more and more as I get older. I'm convinced more and more as I see more and more people my age raising kids, some that choose to go along in the path that they've been raised, some that are walking away as soon as they turn 18. And I think the missing element to the ones that walk away is their home was a war zone. Their home was unhappy. Their home did not have good memories, and they just wanted nothing to do with it. They walked away. They were done. And so I really, as mamas, we set the tone in the home. We set the tone. If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And that's totally true. You set the tone. You set a happy tone, a contented tone, a peaceful tone, a joyous tone. You set the tone in the home, not your husband. Daddy will come home and sometimes he's grouchy. As mamas, we can kind of tame that. And we can, I'm sorry, we can be sympathetic. We can get him in a better mood because, men, your husband wants to conquer some things. My husband kind of talked a little bit about this yesterday, but they do. Men need to conquer things. They need to work. They need to be outside the home doing something. Let him do his thing. Let him conquer some things. Don't bug him. Don't drive him crazy. Let him conquer some things. And then he wants to come home to a happy wife and kids. That's so important. And we are the ones, it is our choice that power is in our hands to provide that for our husbands, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom. There's no excuse. There's no excuse not to have a clean home. There's no excuse not to have a happy home. There's no excuse not to have a content home. There's no excuse not to have a peaceful home. This lies on our shoulders. So if that makes me mean, I hope it doesn't make me mean, but it's just the fact of the matter. We've been blessed to be a stay-at-home mom. Let's take advantage of that, and let's do it well. Let's do it well. Don't make activities stressful that you do. You know, I've just learned with myself that I can't do a lot of the artsy painty. It stresses me out too badly. And then we just all end up in a yelling mess. And that's not the memory that I want my kids to have. So I would rather just avoid that and do something else. That's just me. So don't make activities stressful, though, whether that comes to you go to see a Christmas tree lighting, or you go caroling, or whatever, make it a good memory. Be happy, laugh, enjoy yourself, smile. Don't be freaking out over the kids over every little thing. Don't make activities stressful. They'll just want to stay home, holed up in their rooms doing their own thing if you make it that way. Sometimes simple traditions are the best. We don't have these big elaborate traditions in our home. Like I said, we do the stockings, we read the Christmas story before we open presents. We do the cinnamon rolls. We have our things here at the church. We have Christmas dinner they really look forward to. We have the white elephant gift exchange they really like. We have Christmas cookie exchange. Oftentimes in the past, we've done Christmas ornament exchange. It didn't work out this year, and I'm not stressing about it. It's just, it is what it is. We'll get to it next year if we're able to. It's not a big deal. I just know that the years of me stressing out over this stuff are gone. They're in the past. I don't want that to be that way anymore. We do go to Peoria every year to see the Christmas lights, and then we do a fun activity around that time, whether that's ice skating or going bowling at the Christian Fun Center there, whether that's just going to the mall and walking around. Bass Pro Shop. We usually always go to Bass Pro Shop and get our picture in front of the big Christmas tree. Yes, the kids like to see Santa there. They have a really nice free picture that they give out actually at Bass Pro Shop. So it's just something fun that we do. And nope, I don't post the pictures online because I would probably get canceled myself. And there's some battles that I'm not going to fight. And that's, we can have fun with the kids seeing him, but I'm not going to shove it in everyone's faces, because some people hold really strong convictions about Santa. So for us, Santa is just a fun mythical thing that we like to talk about, but it's not something that I'm not going to die on that hill. It's not a battle. It's Santa. Who cares? I'm not going to die on that hill. So, yeah, Ashley sends me pictures all the time of Madeline doing all these she's like the fun mom, right? And now she has Madeline. She doesn't have 7 or 8 like I do right now at home, 7 at home still. But she sends me pictures all the time, and I'm just like, Ashley, you are such a fun mom, but I would die. So I have just learned it's not worth the stress for me to be that way with my kids. So yeah, she's the fun mom. She does all the fun painting things. Yeah, she has fun with it. Maybe that'll be a very core memory for her growing up. For my kids, that's not going to be a core memory, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. My home is different from your home. And don't think that you have to be the Pinterest mom. I am definitely not the Pinterest mom that does all these cutesy little artsy things. That's not me. That is not my forte. But you know what? We have our things we do, like the activities at church, like our Peoria trip every year. We have the different things that we do. We always buy a popcorn tin and watch Elf. That's another one of my kids' core memories. The other day, Abby was out and she texted my husband and said, don't eat popcorn. So we knew she had gotten the popcorn tin. At least 1 or 2 popcorn tins a year we go through, and we watch Christmas movies. That's kind of what we do. So yeah, I'm not into the artsy thing, and that's fine. Our home's different than your home. So that's okay. Find joy in the simple. It could be a popcorn tin and hot chocolate in a movie like I do. It could be wrapping presents with your oldest daughter. It could be a shopping trip with a couple of your daughters, buying for the family or buying for your husband. You know, it doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be stringy popcorn and cranberries, although that would be a cute idea too. I saw that and I thought that would look so pretty on the tree, you know, like an old-fashioned Christmas. But you have to make a choice that you're not going to get stressed out this year. You have to make the choice. If something doesn't get done or doesn't go exactly the way that you had in your head as this hallmark moment that was going to happen, and the birds were going to sing and the angels were going to flit through the sky and stardust was going to fall at exactly the right moment, and the orchestra was going to play beautiful serenade in the background. You know, if it doesn't go that way, you need to let go of that and just try not to be disappointed and enjoy the simpleness. I love every morning waking up and drinking my coffee with the Christmas tree lights on and just seeing the stillness, and maybe it could be fresh snow on the ground, and seeing that. And that, to me, it just gives me a peaceful feeling, and it gives me the Christmas spirit, and it gives me the Christmas feeling. And for me, that's enough. I love driving through the Christmas lights, listening to Christmas music, and it just gives me that Christmas feeling. I love thinking back. One of my favorite memories, for some reason, my mom was taking a nap. For some reason, probably because it was like dark at 4:30, right? And Christmas Peanuts, the Christmas Charlie Brown, was playing, and the Christmas tree lights were on, and the whole house was still. And as a little kid, I was watching them sing the song at the end. And I love that feeling I get when I think back to that time. And for me, that's a really special Christmas memory. And it was just very simple. I was watching Charlie Brown Christmas, so now every time I watch Charlie Brown Christmas, I get that same feeling. And I love it when the lights are off and the Christmas tree lights are on and I'm watching Charlie Brown Christmas, and I just get that feeling. When they're reading out of Luke too, and they're telling the Christmas story. And this is very special for me. So what are some of your guys' favorite Christmas traditions? Go ahead and list them. Go ahead and list them in the chat, but I'm going to go ahead and do some giveaways. Thank you to my friend Grace. She did this last year as well. Grace donated $25, and I'm going to make it an even 30. I'm going to do three $10 gift cards for whatever coffee shop you want, as long as I can buy a digital gift card. So that could be Dunkin', that could be Starbucks, that could be Scooters, that could be 7 Brew, that could be, what's that, Hortons or something. I think that's mainly Canada. I'm not sure, but it can be pretty much any mainstream coffee place that I can buy a digital gift card and email it to you. So if you win one of these gift cards, you need to email me at gentlyledsisters@gmail.com, and you need to tell me, so email me there so I'll have your email address so I can send you the gift card. Basically is how we're doing it. We're doing 3 digital $10 gift cards. Okay. So now I got to think of questions. Okay, so the first one to put these down gets the gift card. So here's one of my questions from the beginning of the show. What was one of my tips? It has to be one of the points that I gave. What was one of my tips when it comes to presents? What did I say? There was a few things. It can be a variety of things that I said, but what was one of the first things that I said about presents? That's going to be question number 1. And I'm going to write you guys down, whoever gets it first. And I know sometimes it's a lag, so make sure that your internet is caught up. Make sure that you are in real time with me when it comes to that. So, yep. And Jenny got it. It was a thrift store. I said one of the things for presents is go to a thrift store. Yep. So Jenny got that one. I think, Jenny, I have your email address. So actually, that is fine. So that was question number 1. We already got that one answered. So we're going to move on now to another question. All right. When it came to, let's see, when it came to just like church activities in general, when it came to church activities in general, what was one of the tips I gave for that? I gave a few. I know this one I didn't spend as much time on, but I gave a few when it came to activities. So the first one, now, Jenny, you can't win two. Okay. So you can only win one. So Jenny got one. But the first one to write, something that it came, yep, that was with the toys one, Ashley. 3 per kid, yes. But yeah, Jenny, you can't answer this one. Okay, so make sure that your connection is buffered to real time to where you're following. Jenny is caught up pretty good. Kaylin, yeah, you got it. Don't bring sick kids. Good. Yep, for the activities, because unfortunately, if you're in a church setting and you bring sick kids, then, and this is not aimed at anyone. Okay, I'm just saying that because this happens every year. Sickness abounds as sickness gets passed on. I know everyone here at church does not, like our church, they don't intentionally, they know if their kid's sick, they're not going to bring them. So everyone's really good about that here. Kaylin, so you get a coffee gift card, and we have one more left. Okay, so Jenny W and Kaylin got it. Okay, so you two are out. You cannot win anymore, so it has to be someone else answering this. Okay, so now for the last one. What was one of the tips that I said in the gifts for spouses? What is an idea that you can do for your spouse? One of the freebies, one of the free things that I said. Ashley, I think you are behind. I think your connection is behind because she keeps answering like later after we're done. So I think her thing is not buffered all the way. But yeah, what are some ideas with the free things that I gave? And yes, Kaylin and Jenny, you cannot answer. They're kind of the ones that have lit up the chat. So well, good, Jenny. You answered the whole thing, or you listened to the whole thing, so you know all the answers to the questions. This is the very, very last one. Anyone want to jump in? We still have 15 or 20 people watching right now, so someone should know the answer. So what's the free thing that I said? Free thing. Anyone? Ashley, do you remember? Were you not? Okay, Ashley. So remember, free thing. What's one of the free things? A trip? Well, that's not free. That is one of the things, though. That is one of the things. I'll give it to you if no one else answers. So that was something that you pay for. I mentioned a couple things that you could do. Well, actually, yeah, only about 2 things. Only about 2 things that I mentioned that you could do for free. I made this one a little bit more specific. You are right. I did mention trip, though. That's what we're going to do for Christmas presents this year. I need one. If no one answers in the next 10 seconds, I'm going to go ahead and just give it to you, because that is one thing that I did mention that you could do with your spouse for a gift idea. I think Ashley is behind. She's gone radio silent. All right, so we'll do another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Oh, Miriam just got it. Coupons. Yes, like a coupon book. Oh, you were so close, a fruitful vine. So close, but Miriam got it. Miriam, go ahead and email me at gentlyledsisters.com. I think Miriam is the one who got it, though. Ashley disappeared. Where'd you go, Ashley? Miriam, go ahead and email me at gentlyledsisters.com and let me know your email address so I can send it. And when you email me, let me know what you want, like which mainstream coffee. Do you want Starbucks? Do you want Dunkin' Donuts? Do you want 7 Brew? Do you want Scooters? We just got a Scooters that opened right down the road this week, so I'm excited about that. But just let me know which coffee place you want. Miriam, if you do not email me, I'm going to give it to Fruitful Vine. So or she said to give it to Ashley. So yeah, spending together could be a trip. I guess like if you went on a trip to a state park and hiked, that would be free, except you're using gas money. But other than that, that would be free. So, but Miriam did do one of the free things that I suggested. Okay, well, we're going to sign off for now. I hope you ladies have a wonderful week. And I'm not sure about next week's show. I might do a pre-recorded one because we might be doing our activity to Furia next week when we go. So yeah, we might I might just do a premiere next week. But since Christmas is on the 25th this year, probably do a premiere that week too. So we'll see how it goes. But I hope you all have a wonderful week. And this is my last week to wrap things up before I take a couple weeks off. So I'm looking forward to that. So we will see you all.